Welcome to our lovely future humans, our 5D collective. To those who are new, well, how can I share this? It's a pity. It's a pity that there are those who are not confident out there. And the Cains of the world would be the insecure people of the world. But there's also the spiritual, quote unquote, leaders. They're fear-based leaders, let me explain. The ones who are bringing stories from our ancestors' time, vilifying, dehumanizing, and basically just slapping labels and the word evil and all of that on people. So this is disappointing because I am, as a mystic and spiritual one, in communion with God, and I talk to him about it all the time. And the inconsistency of their words is one. God's perfect, they're not. And apparently they don't understand how science, it gives us data. As it builds data, it proves things. And it proves there's no demons inside of anyone. And so when someone says to me that they got explained that God doesn't need science, that's why they're not accepting the decentralizing the self and the religious experiences and how our brain evolves, I'm just thinking, wow, they really don't know who God is, huh? Because apparently we can't be perfect if you continue to want to slap a label on people and use ancient stories to keep ignorance going. So the Cains of the world, I wanted to share that message that they are loved by God too. They just don't know it yet, so that we could just chit chat for a little bit about insecure people. They have shame, and the leaders they follow, they also carry it. And it might not be shame, it could be grandiosity, whatever it is. It's a non-bilaterally integrated brain. It's an individual and more that within their entire herd are ignorant. And oh yes, the whole virtual reality. So when people want to think that it's a virtual reality or it's a flat earth or whatever, that they're going to come in and bring on, I get it. Luckily, the ones who are in our 5D collective who are embodying love, that's because of being nervous system sovereign, we are here together knowing, thank you Neil deGrasse, as he points out, the less connected you are to what is objectively true, the less likely you are able to make decisions that will benefit your life, the life of your family, even civilization itself. So do you know, for a spiritual one, why there's no fear of evil winning? And I'm going to do it this way because thank goodness we're in the year 2026. And I say that because obviously our ancestors were actually ignorant and we are not any longer. And I'm from the future. As a mystic, one of the first downloads I got was you're from the future. But also that it's my human makeup, that's why I can download. So when you do know the ways to God, FYI, I'm a co-author of the book. If you want to learn a little bit about me, the chapter is titled God is Discerning Equanimous Love, and I share with you in 14 pages just some of the stories. So with the self-agency and the Good Christian Catholic Catechist, I have a solid foundation, Jesus consistently guiding me, Holy Spirit, God and I have a pact, and whenever I see douchebags, he's actually chiming in to remind me to take it easy. And so what I am disappointed and sad about is that we have those who are not only the spiritual ones in positions, they're all bypassers, the science bypassers, and when I say bypassing, they're bypassing their duty to use their nervous system as human beings effectively. And then I remind myself, they can't. They don't know how to, Maria. Don't you remember? Oh, that's right. Shit, sorry. So as Pat Ogden explains, those who don't get to learn self-regulation as infants and or children, or anyways, infants, because it's the first year of life. But my point is that they need to learn from somebody else how to autonomously self-regulate. And with that being said, if you're all attachment trauma educated and you're securely attached, you know what I'm talking about. And so it's not funny to see the Cains of the world as they continue to suffer. The ones who are afraid that any evil, quote unquote, would win don't seem to understand how effective realism works and your nervous system. So your very strong emotions, Lisa Feldman Barrett informed me of the effective realism thing. And also that the brain keeps account, even if the body keeps a score. So when you have your body, brain, yourself is yours, your heart, all that, and you understand how we work, because you get it explained, I do personal growth and spiritual growth. Check out PayHip if you like mindset practices and journal prompts. And there's going to be a couple of guides soon coming around and a nice freebie for those of you who like those 10-minute practices to put your ventral state in activation. Obviously, you know, it's not going to take just 10 minutes, but the 10 minutes helps you to center in a moment. Then you do more of contemplative later. So the journey of life, amazing. As I was saying, when people are not using two sides, it's obvious to those of us who are using two sides, because the effective realism, the very strong emotions, I two words, it is right, that feels right, are obvious because of the bitterness. And so for me, when I get judgmental, it's more of I'm distancing myself from that which irritates me. And then I begin to make fun of a bunch of people, and that's without naming them. I don't need to name them because that's really not nice. Some would say that they think I should, and I'm going to say that's really unnecessary, because also, again, when you meet the Cains of the world, they're unsatisfied, they're unfulfilled. What they need is not me, they need a therapist so they can own themselves. Once they're observing, witnessing, narrating, then it's if they want to get out of their maladaptive patterns of behavior, inner critic, outer critic, the drinking, drugging, fucking, whatever it is, binge eating, binge watching, binge whatever, any extreme, you just bring it all in. So when I see ignorance, it's easy to spot, because that's how easy it is to see when an individual follows around the wrong leader. Because epistemically lazy, charges, polarized narratives, good and bad. How old are you? You don't understand how it works. Guru expands you. Cult leader goes to jail because they don't expand you. So if you don't have the best interest of all people at heart, then that's the key. That's immediate. You're like, okay, so fear-based leader, they always divide people. Divide never conquers. Actually, divisiveness just does that. You isolate, then they end up all alone, and they're happy. That's great. And one day when the sun does go out, the group that decided to not take their children to hospitals because apparently yes, they're God's chosen ones, they're going to not know what's going on, but we're not going to leave them there, are we? And so it really feels like a movie sometimes. And no, I don't believe it's a virtual reality. I just believe that I never thought in a million years that I would see so many delusional human beings out there who wouldn't notice that they're delusional because the epistemic trust was broken when they were children somewhere, because they don't know what right or wrong is. Like, right is you support, whether it's one city, the whole state, it doesn't matter, the whole country, the whole world. Supporting means not what you believe in or not believe in. This is the point. No, it's actually air, water, food, and creating systems that work financially and economically. And that's why when someone's getting made fun of, quote unquote, by a human being who thinks that their idea and mission to help to fix the economic system is, you think that's easy? No, he has balls. The difference is he has actual balls. He's not thinking it's easy. He's like, we're going to do this. That's a person who's tapped into their higher human potential, who knows it's possible, because we're always possible, because that's the whole point of living in the now. It's not living on the edge with the people who don't know how to regulate their own depth. They don't know what regulating intensity is. Like, they have no freaking clue how amazing the blissed out state is, because they don't even get over the hump. The secure attachment gets called boring by people who are supposed to be motivating their own clients to get over the hump so they can self-regulate. But maybe those same people who are working with them don't know it. I know the blissful flow state. It's amazing. It doesn't take much. It just takes, it's okay. There's douchebags all over the place. So to the Cains of the world, they're all loved, but you don't convince them because they are afraid of it. And that's the saddest of every single bit of sadness. So when I hear the spiritual bypassers and those who want to tell me their leaders are the right leaders, sure they are. You know what? The inconsistency, number one, if you're a child of God, he's perfect. No person in flesh is. So in science proves that God's perfection is here. And Jesus mentions the kingdom of God is within everyone. I'm going to think it's a pretty clear slate. If people want to say technology and science, bad, monster, that has nothing to do with humans. As for the ones who are suffering, we already know what they do. They're stingy, they're arrogant, and that's because they're insecure. So we take what is the knowledge that they give, and then, as the badasses typically do, because all you need is the 1% in our entire human history, it's not the masses that leave a legacy behind, it's the small 1%, and nobody's saying, yeah, look, Albert Einstein got made fun of. I'm going to go get made fun of too. So when you see groupies like actually praising each other in ways that it's like, okay, nobody said you have to be stupid. Some people will be quirky or whatever the words are, weird, but it's not because we're going to go flunk out of school, go fail miserably and leave school. Like, you see people saying how they succeeded in life and they failed in school, and it's, I mean, it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but don't give that bad example. What you would want to give as an example is persevere, and that's with very, very good effort. And obviously school is not necessarily for everyone, but to actually praise yourself for having flunked and then comparing yourself to Einstein or something who didn't know math. Yeah, okay, you know what? So anyways, that's where groupies are at. But what I wanted to share, God loves all his children. So shame on those spiritual leaders who don't know how to bring forth the word of God. And the Dalai Lama did make the call, but they did not adhere because you know how people who are stingy they get. So while conspiracy theorists think there's some big bad monster somewhere, I'm like, sure there is. You really don't know what humans are made of, huh? Ego. You're so easy to spot. It's not even funny. So ego's not a challenger. I have an ego too. The difference is mine is smart, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. That's because I use two sides. That's right. Like I said, I get my judgmental asshole every now and then, but it's really just when I'm pissed off at dumbasses who are continuing to perpetuate the suffering of the world. And then I remind myself that, you know, I'm a Smurf. I'm a Care Bear. Yeah, the Gargamels of the world think we're dumbasses. And so do the, well, I was a grumpy bear. But see, I'm still the same. I can still stare people down. I just don't have it in me anymore. I was only grumpy bear as a kid. That's you know, I had immature emotions. Well, I still have some immature emotions. Anyways, we will be back to talk about this some more. And as our lovely Neil deGrasse points out, you can know enough about a subject matter to think you're right, but not enough about a subject matter to know you're wrong. For the attachment trauma education and the ventral alignment and ventral vagal state and flow state, I'm embodying the experience. So I know what it takes. It takes a whole self, nervous system sovereignty. It takes your capacity to wield your own emotions and your own thoughts and notice, oh, look, I have really strong emotions right now. My twin flames are really pissing me the fuck off. Hey, God, thank you for keeping me away from all of them because I totally would have ripped a new one to every single one of them. No, there's 3. One in particular, I had to say, if you continue, I'm going to cease talking to you completely. And that's not because I want to, but you seem to not be understanding what I'm trying to convey to you through my mouth. And they ceased. And that is all. And so when you see the suffering that goes about for that journey, that's a bunch of groupies too. And when you see them flipping a switch, a real twin flame, a fake twin flame, then there's a no twin flame. It's like, wow, so basically you didn't get what you wanted. And now you're completely like talking shit about your own oversoul. Amazing. Yeah, no, I'm not amazed. That's actually why they're bypassing. They don't even notice why their third eye is blocked. Except for the witch hunt, they came after me. If you actually had introspection with good therapy, you would figure it out, you would get healed. Then once you would be healed, your third eye would be unblocked and you would maybe be able, so this is for them. The Cains of the world are loved. And again, we won't be using that archetype or any of that, but to try and give a different outlook on those stories, because whenever I'm looking at any stories, it's very easy to spot the number one thing: none of our human species enjoys change. And so whenever they're saying science is bad, astrology is bad, music is bad, it's like, well, yeah, everything that was new was bad. Like Elvis, they cut his legs off from a screen because he was dancing weird. Okay, so number one. And then number two, we have the spiritual and science fear-based leaders creating sheep, because they're actually happy to be praised and they don't care about what they're doing. So while I'll fuck up the words and I won't know everything, one thing I won't do is manipulate in a way of lying. But guess who wants the shortcut? And so here's where I get pissy again, because the shortcut is wanted from someone who doesn't want to do the work. And if that person says, I found it hard to believe that first use life, then they're also a person who is denying science and looking at me like I'm the Smurf. And then number three, it's actual textbook rejecting healing because they're afraid of loving themselves first, because that's a confusing letdown. So the pattern is clear of the Cains of the world, and then when they're going around in the merry-go-round circle, and after about, what year is it, 2026, like 10 years, we circle back around, and this is a number of people, it's the same question. It's, okay, wow, really, I mean, if 10 years ago you would have started a journey that I shared with all due respect, today would be a very different conversation inside, and it would be amazing because we'd be able to smile and both feel good. And instead, I know that that's not the case. So dysregulated people, self-loathing, gut-wrenched, torn apart, and people who don't work to bring their self to their emotional capacity, it's sad. But when they do and they say, I want to do the rest of me, I want to live now, you say, well, there you go. You got your wish. Your wish is going to be that you're going to continue to not self-regulate and practice the curiosity and the flow state. So it's a push, that lovely flow state. Where is this? This is the lovely pushes to the edge of criticality. So if you don't have fun with thoughts and feelings, you're not going to tap into the higher you, which is really just you using your human makeup. So let's show the children and the grown-ups how it's done. And then let's all together, as we're disappointed by those fear-based leaders, being a leader does not mean dominating the situation. It means empowering people to do what they would not have imagined possible. And every person can be a securely attached, self-regulating, accountable human being who discerns their own effective realism and very strong emotions and activated state. And we are not our activated state. I almost reacted then. I remembered sovereignty is a choice, and emotions are signals, not my sovereign rulers. And so we tend to those emotions and we say, it's going to be okay. And for me, luckily I have God, and then I have all my loved ones, and I have a restorative embodiment, and that's the ease state, and that's what every person can have. But I'm cool with sitting still inside of me and regulating depth and intensity, amazing. While the fantasy people who don't actually ever make it to the end of the journey, yeah, one who is stuck in the realm of right and wrong, liking and disliking, will never know the texture of love. It's sad. It's sad to say, and actually, as Sadhguru points out today, he had a nice quote, I have not given anyone the privilege to make me happy or unhappy, angry or miserable. So when you're emotionally sovereign, you're mentally sovereign, your nervous system sovereign, and that's your sovereign blueprint, and you will love all people and hug all of the Cains of the world, meaning dysregulated people are not scary. And as for the ones who really don't have healthy boundaries, they don't want to be around us because our communication and our knowledge and our wishes, our abundance energy mode, yes, ventral vagal state, they don't like it that much. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But they like it for when they need it, then they don't like it for when they're in bad moods, because obviously it's kind of like, being very yucky inside because you're very angry and irritated, yucky in that sense, and being near someone who's, oh, look, it's rainbows, sunshines. That's why the Smurfs and the Gargamel. It's the best I can do to fully respect people who could heal and could get their A game on. So in the meantime, let's be ourselves the smart way, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. Welcome aboard, lovely collective. Check out PayHip for journal prompts and mindset practices, and Substack, where we continue with our community. And I'll share with you the surprises soon enough. Have a good one.